really funny story time to tell you all. So, yeah. So, I was playing Tower of Hell and I was on like the pro towers. And when I got to the top, there was like this whole entire gang of like copy and pastes. And they full on like, they started attacking me. Well, not attacking me, but they were literally saying like, oh my god, imagine having that style. So I decided to ask them if they had TikTok. And they said yes. So I asked them like what's their users and how many followers they have and all that jazz. And they told me they aren't going to tell me the user, but they said they had 2,000 followers, which is apparently more than I have. How do I when you're watching YouTube or like anything that has adverts, and an advert pops up and it's just like, writing's not that easy, but Grammarly can help. This sentence is grammatically correct, but it's wordy and hard to read. It's like, no! I don't want Grammarly! I can write! I can read! I don't need this!
Such bloody Karens whenever we want to go to the bathroom. Like, it's just a regular day at school. You're working hard. Well, yeah. Kinda, yeah. And then you have this sudden urge to pee. You ask the teacher, and then they're like, no, you're not wasting my lesson time on you going to the toilet. You should have gone at lunch. Yeah. Hun, no. You see, let me teach you how the human body works. I didn't need to go at lunch. My food has to digest first. Yeah, I don't digest it straight away. Also, sometimes you get that slightest bit lucky, and then they're like, okay, just wait for Vanessa to get out. We don't want you two girls talking. No. Hun, let me get this thing straight. I don't like Vanessa. I don't think anyone likes Vanessa. So, we're not going to exactly have a full-on conversation in the toilets. Like, what do you think it is, a mother's meeting?
Childhood story. When I was 2 years old, my mom passed away. My dad wasn't in the picture, so I went to go live with my grandparents. My grandparents lived in a super old home that was built in the 1800s. I was a very imaginative child. So when I told my grandparents that I used to see people in the house, they just didn't believe me. There was one lady in particular that I would always see. She would sit at the end of my bed and watch me fall asleep. I wasn't scared of her because I thought she was an actual person. Plus, I was super little, so nothing even crossed my mind. At this point, I was like 4 or 5 years old. I remember her talking to me constantly. She even sang me the song Rockabye Baby to get me to go to bed one night. Every single day when I would get home, I could see her in my window. At that point, I thought she was just waiting for me. She just wanted to be my friend, right? But as I got older, things started to get really weird between me and her. She wasn't this nice lady anymore. Stay tuned for part 2. This is part 2 of the lady in my room who would sing me lullabies to get me to go to bed. No one else in my family could see her. She even told me that she was my mom. I really believed her. If you remember, my mom passed away when I was 2. So, I mean, it seemed pretty real that it was my mom. I didn't really remember what my mom's face looked like when she passed away. And this lady, could be my mom. She continued to sing me lullabies every single night when I would go to bed. She would always be waiting for me in the window when I would get home from school. But I figured out pretty quickly it wasn't my mom. My mom was a sweet, kind-hearted person. This spirit was evil. She would get mad at me every single time any of my friends would come over. She told me she could see my future and that I was going to go to hell after I died in a car accident. It scared me so much, but no one believed me. It got to the point where I never even wanted to go in the car because I thought I was going to die. She convinced me I was evil. Stay tuned for part 3. This is part 3 of the lady who used to sing me lullabies to get me to go to bed. This spirit was evil, and she started to convince me that I was evil too. She convinced me that I would go to hell because I was a horrible child, even though I wasn't. She convinced me that every single person in my life hated me. She even started to control my dreams, and I would wake up every single night screaming at the top of my lungs from a night terror, and she would be sitting at the end of my bed. This went on for years. When I turned 9, my grandpa passed away. And because it was a really big house, me and my grandma moved to a different house. And the evil spirit was just gone. I never saw her again. But was she really gone? When I was 15, I went to a psychic. The moment I walked into the room, she could feel a dark energy enter the room. She told me that someone was following me every single step I took. And when she said that, I knew exactly what she was talking about. After that, I went to a medium, and after many sessions with her, the dark presence was finally gone. I'm going to be telling you
Know that one girl. When you're just hanging out and she's like that one pick-me who is just like, oh, boys are just less drama, and I'm one of them. Well, I personally know one, and she is always calling me like stereotypical, and I'm like, girl, STFU. And so one day I was hanging out with my bestie and she walks up to me and goes, no wonder you have only one friend. I'm one of the boys and I have like 1,000 already. And I straight up kicked her sheen. She got really angry after and went crying too.
You have to have this one person in your class, or you're just lucky to get into a nice class. That one person who just always wants to be right. When someone answers a question and they get it right, they say this. Yeah, I got that too. Really? Really? Next example. When they get it wrong and the teacher asks, how did you go wrong? Where did you go wrong? They explain and then they say this. I was gonna do that. You weren't gonna do that, were you? Were you? Tell me that now. You weren't. Now stop trying to be the best in the class who gets everything right. Goodbye, everyone.
I absolutely hate when you're like in English class or something and your teacher is just simply explaining your task to you. But then you decide to start a very loud conversation with your best friend. She notices you and your teacher gives you that look that really says no. She's like, oh wait. You both look at her like, I'm so sorry. Was my lesson interrupting your conversation? It's fine, guys. Seriously, I'll wait. I'm like, thank you, sister, because I've still got to go through all the drama with my best friend. And last time I checked, you were teaching in our conversation. Home time, and all the parents are standing outside waiting for the teacher to let you go. And then suddenly a very, very serious crime happens in the classroom. Your teacher has discovered that there is one glue stick without a lid on it. She would say, excuse me, everyone. Where is the missing glue stick lid? You are not leaving until somebody finds it. Everyone is on their hands and knees, desperate to find the stupid piece of plastic. Like love, it's only a piece of plastic. Nobody wants to steal it. No one wants to sell it. It's worthless.
They're like, oh, what game do you want to play? And you're like, oh, I don't mind, you pick. And they're like, oh no, I picked last night, you picked tonight. So you just pick a random game. Let's use murder mystery, for example. And you're like, oh, let's play murder mystery. And then your friend's like, I don't like that game. Well, don't tell me to pick the game then. If you don't like the game that I want to play, don't ask me to pick the game in the first place if you're not gonna play the game I want to play.
Been on them all day. And what have you been doing, huh? Oh, look at this picture. Oh, look at this. I see you on your Facebook. Don't even try to lie. Leave me alone with my devices and go take your face back somewhere else.
Very selective hearing. I would be there minding my own business, doing my own thing, right? And then I would hear my mom screaming my names from the bottom of the stairs. So I would go like, what? Really loudly. And so many times, but she literally wouldn't be able to hear me. Then I would have to go down and my mom would just be there asking, oh, what are you doing? But when it's like 2 a.m. in the morning and I'm calling my friends, whispering, barely making a sound, basically just breathing, she would already be storming to my bedroom, half asleep, yelling at me to shut up. How does this work?